a part of the PlayStation Plus collection. You're just giving everyone a copy of the game. How dumb are you? Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the HDO Podcast, the show where we talk about everything that's hot in the world of gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Ethan, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host with the co-most. It's Hunter. Hey, Hunter. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell. Here to talk about some gaming opinions.
If you thought we loved PlayStation, wait till you see this week's episode. We're going in. We're also joined by the Weeb Wonder himself. It's Kyle. Hey, Kyle. You doing all right?
Yeah, dude. I think it's finally time that we split some hairs with this fan base.
Oh, hooray. Hope you don't.
Change some people's thoughts on that we all love PlayStation.
Nah, I'm on Team Xbox now.
Fuck it, I'm on no team.
I'm on Team Supergiant.
I'm on Team Books.
Team Books. I'm
Nerd.
on... Yeah. I'm on Team Cinema. Oh, wait, no, they don't exist anymore. Guess we'll just stare at the wall. Anyway, if you didn't know...
There's so many theaters closing down where I live. It sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise
Team
me.
HBO Max.
Team HBO.
I don't want that. I want to go to a theater and scream with people.
Oh, I don't. I don't want that. That's a terrible future. No, thank you. But if you didn't know, this is the HDO Podcast, where every week we come together to talk about everything that we love in the world of video games. You can find us on podcast services everywhere, including Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're on it. If you head on over to Linktree, that's linktr.ee/hotgamersonly, you can find what podcast service we're on, or just search for Hot Games Only on your favourite podcast service. Chances are we're on it. And if we're not, let us know, and we'll be on it as soon as we possibly can. If you want to see our beautiful faces each and every week, you can head on over to the YouTube channel at bit.ly/HJOIT, or again, search Hot Games Only on YouTube, and you can watch the video version of the podcast go live every Monday along with the audio version at roughly around 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern. Not really much in terms of housekeeping this week, so we don't really have to talk about anything. Just to continue to go and watch Hunter's stuff, the reviews that he's making, because I still haven't done anything. It's great.
Please and thank you.
Hey, you finally finished Strikers.
Yeah, I guess, because coming up on this week's episode, we talk about PlayStation's big fuck-up. We talk about Kojima and Xbox. We talk about playing video games this week, because we've all actually played video games this week, which is a surprise. Good work, everybody. Well done, everyone. Good fun.
We did our job for the gaming podcast.
We did our job, indeed. But now, with all that spiel out of the way, Twitter at Hot Gamers Only and all that garbage, I guess we can go straight into PlayStation's big fuck-up for the week. Now, I realised I did not get the article up, and Jason Schreier will be mad at me if I don't credit him, so we're pulling all of this information.
Jason Schreier. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, oh, I know who he is. He is
that... No, I mean, that's his inner monologue.
Oh, yeah, probably. I'm just trying to...
Schmuck, and why won't you leave me alone?
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm just going to type in Last of Us Remake. That'll find the article, won't it? There we go. I'm going to Eurogamer because I am not paying for Bloomberg. I'm sorry, Bloomberg. You're just going to have to accept it because I'm not paying for that. I'm also really noticing how fucking pale I look, so this is going to be fun. This is coming...
Fiddle with the lights.
No, this is coming from Wesley Yin Poole, who has basically written down Jason Schreier's words for us here so that we don't have to pay. Bloomberg said that a Last of Us remake is in the works. Meanwhile, Days Gone 2 isn't happening. There's this massive spiel. Basically, everyone knew that there was this hidden developer called Sony San Diego? Sony San Diego? I don't remember.
I believe that's what we were assuming. It was like Sony San Diego or something. Yeah.
There was a San Diego studio that Sony has had for ages, and Jason Schreier leaked that the thing that they've been working on this whole fucking time was a remake for the original Last of Us on PlayStation 5. Basically, they wanted to remake Uncharted. Sony said that cost too much money, so now they're remaking Last of Us. And then they got taken off it, and Naughty Dog's now on it, and they're a co-studio, and everyone's left that whole spiel. Meanwhile, over at Sony Bend, Hunter's favorite developer, Days Gone 2 is no longer. Days Gone 2 isn't happening because even though it was profitable and it was a massive success, especially afterwards, it sold really well. Its development had been lengthy, and because it wasn't a critically acclaimed darling like every other Sony IP, they were told to get off it. They were originally told to make an Uncharted game, and then eventually they were told to make. Eventually Sony Bend said, "We don't want to make an Uncharted game. We want to do our own thing." And PlayStation said, "Fine, but you can't do Days Gone 2."
It's annoying that they shot down Days Gone 2, because while Days Gone is not my favorite of like the exclusives from the last generation, I feel like they could have made 2 a better game and ironed out some of the issues with it. It wasn't so bad that I wasn't willing to come back for it.
Yeah,
it was good. It just wasn't like I wasn't gonna rave about it like Horizon or something.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's not good enough for PlayStation because Jim Ryan hates your guts.
Yeah. But yeah, Sony Bend is now working on a new game. Bend developers feared that they might be absorbed into Naughty Dog because of working on this Uncharted game. And the studio's leadership asked to be taken off the project, which they got eventually. But Sony has apparently, according to the developers that left, because loads of people left, all the leadership left from San Diego, the new studio, and a lot of leadership from Sony Bend left.
Like Garvin, the guy who was in charge of Days Gone, and I believe like one of the main leads behind the Siphon Builder games back in the day. I don't remember his full name, but I believe his last name is Garvin.
Mm-hmm.
Left.
Yeah, loads of people left. And that's because Sony has an obsession with blockbusters, which is stirring unrest currently at PlayStation Studios. They no longer want to take risks, and instead have a fixation on teams that churn out hits, which is a nice little sentence to have. And this comes just after Sony's recent reorganization of its Japan studio, which is a nice way of saying fucking destroying Japan studio, obliterating it, and everyone leaving. So that is some of it. That's basically the gist of it. Jason Schreier said it a lot nicer, but basically Last of Us Remake is definitely happening. Sony San Diego, the studio that everyone has been hyped about for years, who, let's remember, the leak was that they were making Uncharted. That was the leak from ages ago, was PlayStation is making a new studio who's going to be the new Uncharted dev while Naughty Dog moves on. And what actually happened was they were like, we want to make Uncharted. Jim Ryan said, no, too much money. Make Last of Us again. And there you go. God.
Oh boy.
This is just
Who would have thought that Sean Layden was the glue holding Sony together?
I should also specify before someone makes it apparent in the comments also, it's not just Jim Ryan. It is Herman Hulst as well, who is the leader of PlayStation Studios. I don't think this is all on Jim Ryan's shoulders.
I just jumped to his name first because he's the one.
He's the one that puts his face in front of everything at the moment. Yeah.
The most boneheaded remarks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I should say,
play old games. Why would you want to play Gran Turismo 3 when the new one's out?
Yeah, I was
Picks a specific game that lives and dies off of its photorealism and all that hot garbage.
Yeah.
Bad example.
Just gonna say, and all of this stuff is coming off the heels of the old PlayStation Store shutting down, PS3 and Vita support.
It's not been a good month. It has not been a good month for PlayStation right now. I would like to say that I 100% believe that this whole Uncharted is costing too much is 100% Herman Hulst and not Jim Ryan. I feel like I should specify that because I've heard people like Herman Hulst, but I've heard that he's a bit of a fucking cheapskate. That's what I've heard. So it's not just Jim Ryan. Everyone is basically, when this went live, everyone was like, boy, like everyone was like, fire Jim Ryan and stuff like that was all trending on Twitter. We should specify it's not just him. It's the whole of the new leadership. Jim Ryan is more of the problem with their current models and stuff like the whole Japan studio reorganization. That's 100% Jim Ryan because he's been trying to move everything out of Japan for PlayStation for the past couple of years. So that's 100% him. But Herman's probably this shit with Sony Bend and this shit with Sony, what was Sony San Diego, which is now just a Naughty Dog support studio, I guess, as they continue to remake the same fucking games Naughty Dog has made over the past 15 years.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I guess we should start with Last of Us, seeming as that's the leak, and
We have to.
We gotta start somewhere.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter had mixed reactions.
Mixed?
Yeah.
As in there was some positive? Why?
Very little, but there was some
They
reaction.
like petting giraffes, Hunter.
Hey, my whole thing is, if they're gonna remake it, at least make the gameplay fun this time, you know? At least have the gameplay be slightly engaging. But I'm just gonna throw it to you, Hunter. Last of Us, we know it doesn't need a remake, so how does
No, it
this
doesn't.
how did this come off to
Especially
you?
not from Naughty Dog, who has been directing the same game for, since 2007.
Yeah.
Structurally speaking, Uncharted 1 through 4 are very similar. So are the Last of Us games. The Last of Us 2 spiced it up a little bit by making the structure worse. So there's that. So I don't believe that Naughty Dog is going to really do much to improve it, except maybe implement some of the things about Last of Us 2's gameplay into the first game, which I could have lived without.
I'll throw it.
I don't get it.
I don't. I genuinely don't fucking get it. Is this Jim Ryan's fear of games getting old? Is this we need to remake The Last of Us because if it gets to a point where it's over 10 years old, people will think it's an old game, and I think old games are bad games, so do we have to remake it to keep it up? Is this going to be a Sony thing where every 10 years they remake the beloved game so that people think it's new again? Like, I'm so confused behind it. Like,
Listen,
honestly.
up until the sequel, there was still like no one could do wrong at Naughty Dog with The Last of Us there.
Yeah.
So I think that would have persisted forever. Gaming Citizen Kane would have kept its legacy without a remake.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I genuinely don't. It's one of those which I can say about everything Sony's been doing recently. It's like this past month has been a turning point because I feel like last year on the whole console race, the whole whatever you want to call it, the whole fucking path we went to, the road to the next generation of consoles, Xbox was making all of these really good decisions, all these right decisions, and PlayStation wasn't making wrong ones, but they were at least not fucking up so that they still were maintaining the momentum that they already had. They weren't building more momentum to me. They were just showing, oh yes, look, more games. Here's Spider-Man. Here's all the stuff that you want. Here's Horizon. But they weren't doing anything to show that they were doing something new, whereas Xbox has been pushing and pushing Game Pass and acquiring studios and doing new things. Which has led to this year, where Xbox has continued to be like, yes, Bethesda, all this other stuff, we're doing this. And Sony's like, PS3 Vita stores in the bin. Sony Japan, fuck off. Last of Us Remake, yeah boy. Ben Studio, no Days Gone 2. You're gonna make Uncharted. I'm baffled.
God. The last thing we needed, aside from a Last of Us remake, was more Uncharted anyway, because those games are still nearly identical. It's really annoying, because honestly, I've been trepid. I've had this notion for a while, and the Studio Japan closure thing was something that made me real worried about it, because a lot of, while they do share their differences, the Sony exclusives are very samey on a kind of just at a glance level.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even at a glance. They are samey. They're all third-person action games.
Yeah. So on a base level there, but I mean, like once you play God of War versus Horizon, there's definitely their share of differences. It's just it all feels very homogenized and annoying.
But it's their share. It's their share of similarities though as well. It isn't.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Like, yes, Horizon is unique to God of War, but it's still the same fucking kind of game. It's just looking at it in two different ways. It's And all of Sony studios are doing the exact same fucking thing, especially now with Ghost of Tsushima as well. You've got Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon, and God of War are all kind of going for the same thing, just to a varying degree of open world. They're all trying to go for a cinematic game with open world elements to them. And it's just how open world based on the three. And then you've got Naughty Dog, which is doing the same shit. And you've got Insomniac, who I love Insomniac to pieces, but they're going to be stuck working on Spider-Man and probably Ratchet and Clank. And I don't
at least
see
they're
anything...
making a platformer.
Which is the only Insomniac's the only platformer studio now that will actually release platformers, because other than hiring people like Sumo to do Sackboy, or maybe getting Media Molecule to make another platformer game, you've got fucking no one, because all of the interesting platformers, Gravity Rush, it all came from Sony Japan. Mm-hmm. All of the interesting little fucking things that were weird but cool all came out of Sony Japan.
Yeah, they don't have any, like... It's really frustrating, because we'll get to Kojima in more detail later, but it's like for them to be cool with you doing something even mildly avant-garde now, it seems like you have to have a big like name behind you.
Yeah.
Like you have to be on Kojima's level, or you have to do what they want.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's kind of depressing, so I'll mention this. Obviously, we should mention, talking about platformers, the Astrobot team, Team Asobi, is still alive. They're the only thing in Japan that they've kept. And I 100% think that is because of PSVR 2, and solely because Astro's Playroom was received so well. I think if Astro's Playroom wasn't received as well as it was, we'd also have lost Asobi as well.
Thank God people liked it.
But it's kind of sad that someone mentioned this. I saw someone mention this on Twitter, that Astro's Playroom, what we saw 6 months ago as a celebration of PlayStation history, is now it's like a salute to all of the fucking dead franchises now that will no longer exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. It's like Sony's doing the opposite of Microsoft. Microsoft has built up this, say what you want, everyone makes the jokes of Xbox has no games. They've got 20 fucking studios now. They will have games. Give them a year, give them 2 years, they will have fucking games. And Sony is doing the exact opposite of taking the studios that they've had, looking at the diversity and going, no, third-person action game, you can maybe have it open world if you fucking want, Bucky Boy, but that's about it.
Honestly, the way that Sony's kind of turning is reminding me of how Nickelodeon used to be, where if they didn't think that something would end up being as big as SpongeBob was, they would just either give it one season or turn it away entirely. Like, they turned down Adventure Time when that got pitched to them.
Yeah.
I bet they felt dumb after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
geez.
I don't know. I think that's kind of just the direction Sony's headed right now.
It's very much going back to PS3. It genuinely is.
It's super annoying, too, because while the exclusives are the reason to get a console in a lot of ways, and that's what normally makes my decision for me, Sony's, like, the PlayStation 4 era, I liked their exclusives, yeah, but if I were to rock it off like my top games, it would take a while to get to one. Like, as far as first-party stuff, like Devil May Cry, Transistor, Celeste, Persona, Nier Automata, and then finally I'd come up with Horizon. You know? So,
and even those console exclusives like Persona are going away. And like Nier was a console exclusive as well, come to think of it. It was out on PC, but it was a console exclusive. It did not go to Xbox straight away. It came later. And that's going away. Sony does not have that. Persona is going third party, whether they like it or not. Yeah. From Golden and now Strikers, they're going multiplayer. The fact that it came out on Steam, it went basically everywhere. I'm not surprised. I'm just expecting now. I'm just waiting for the announcement of Persona on Game Pass. I'm awaiting that announcement because it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and Sony's going to go, oh, fuck. Because there's only so much that they can do. They need to actually step up and make some fucking games that are interesting again. Because we've just got sequel studios now.
Is 7 Remake also going to other consoles too?
I believe.
They have like a year of exclusivity, and then
they have a year of exclusivity, and it's the year's up, but they haven't mentioned
like to the day. Happy birthday, Final Fantasy VII R.
Oh yeah, it is. As we're recording, it is. That's funny. But it's out. It's up, and it's not been announced. My only guess is, with Intergrade being announced, unless we hear something soon, Sony re-upped the contract with Intergrade. That's my only thing that I can think of right now. Or it's part of the Final Fantasy 16 deal, because yes, 16 will also be console exclusive to PlayStation. It's really dumb, and I'm just, man, I'm still praying. The only hope that we have for a new interesting IP is we're praying that rumor of Corey Barlog working on something new at Santa Monica. That's the only fucking prayer we have for a new game right now that isn't a sequel. That's it.
Yeah, it's disheartening because it seems like they do make deals with indies and stuff, but you know, and I hope to God they never buy any of these people now.
Yeah.
Like, the people I don't ever want Housemarque to be bought. I want them to keep making their cool little Returnal stuff and just get, like, backing from them. It's a miracle they got backing, seeing how their, like, inner workings are working with Sony are going now.
I mean, it affects Bluepoint, too. I don't think Shadow of the Colossus was the last kind of intricate little remake that Bluepoint will ever do. I honestly think that everyone is bang on that it'll probably be Metal Gear or it'll be something like that. That'll be the next one. Because if it isn't a mainstream IP that's already huge, they're not going to fucking bother.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like...
Yeah. I mean, unless Bluepoint wanted to take their talents elsewhere as well and make it...
Which they still can. Which they still can.
Because they aren't owned. Like,
I'm surprised Phil hasn't made a call yet. I'm surprised Phil has not made a call.
Yeah, like the MGS collection back on the PS3 was Bluepoint, and that was multi-plat and all that, so...
It's just... Everything that Sony's done recently has been just a massive fuck you and a massive, like, going back to their roots of PS3, we're invincible.
And it's just so many.
It's super annoying. I hope it doesn't take a whole console generation for them to be humbled out this time, though.
PS4, the PS4 generation. It wasn't just the fact that they had exclusives. It was the fact that they had got the marketing down. It was the most accessible console compared to the Xbox One, because you had to have the Kinect and all of that bollocks attached to it at the time. It was like they had nailed everything. And now Xbox is caught up in everything except games, and it's only a matter of time. It is honestly only a matter of time. Sony needs to fucking pull their fucking head up and start doing shit, and don't just expect people to hang around. Don't just expect people to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy a PlayStation for, like... I have no fucking shame. Like I said, I've been joking, but I'm probably serious. As soon as I have the source of income to buy it and they're available in stock, I will probably end up buying an Xbox. Not because necessarily that I'm like, oh, fuck PlayStation, but because Phil Spencer knows what he's fucking doing. It's sad to say, but Sony doesn't, and Phil does. And I don't care if it's like, oh no, but I don't want to buy an Xbox. It's going to be like, at the end of the day, he seems to be the only fucker that gives a shit right now about the consumers. Nintendo fucking doesn't, and they never have. And
Nintendo's funny because Sony doing all this stuff almost feels like they actively hate you. Nintendo, on the other hand, just seems to disregard you. It's just a funny flavor of which one.
Nintendo's just off in their own little world.
Yeah. On the other hand, I feel like any given day, Jim Ryan's going to break into my house, stab me with that little dagger back there, and then break all my PS2 games.
No. These are too old. We don't want these anymore, Hunter.
Yeah, exactly.
But now, like...
Here's 10 copies of The Last of Us. Have fun.
Yeah.
I mean... I'm just looking at this. It's like, yeah... I'm looking at their list of all of the developers that they now have. And it's like, yeah, Sony, cool. You're going to have God of War 2. You're going to have Horizon 2. Spider-Man 2. Fucking PS5 will be the console of sequels, where you get the exact Ghost of Tsushima 2. Fucking Last of Us again. You'll literally just have the fucking same line of third-person games. And then when you look at Xbox Game Studios, and yes, Xbox has no games right now. You can say that all you want, PlayStation fans. Keep crying, because there will be a day when 343, the Coalition, Double Fine, The Initiative, Ninja Theory, Obsidian, Playground, Rare, Turn 10, Undead Labs, Arcane Studios, Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, ZeniMax Online Media. There's going to be a time where they've made their fucking video games, and when that day happens, you're fucking fucked. You're fucked, Jim Ryan. Herman. You're fucked.
Fuck you, buddy.
The funny thing about I played Senua's Sacrifice at the end of last year, and it's very similar to the kind of like third-person cinema. I like it more than almost all of those ones that Sony does.
Yeah.
I like it more than The Last of Us and the sequel. I think I like it more than God of War.
Yeah.
Etc.
And what people are going to say? People are going to say, oh, third-person games. You've got Bethesda, which Bethesda Game Studios basically makes those fucking games. There you go. You've got them. You've also got Obsidian making those kinds of games. First-person shooters, you'll have 343 and the Coalition continue what they're doing. They'll have racing. You can't have, Gran Turismo 7. Oh, well, they have Forza, which, no offense to Gran Turismo, in my opinion, Forza, especially Horizon, is a more fun video game. So they have that one. And then, if you're like, Xbox doesn't have any quirky studios. Yeah, you're fucking kidding me, dude. They only have Double Fine. Double Fine is their Japan studio. And Double Fine's going to continue to make quirky, fun things that people care about. And Japan Studio's just been fucking shot in the head. Put it down. No more Gravity Rush for you. No more Patapon. Nothing.
Yeah.
No Knack 3.
No Knack 3.
I can live with that one.
Honestly, man, it's disheartening. It's honestly disheartening.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you look at your competitor right now and you see them doing everything fucking right. They're ticking every box. They're going down the list, and Phil Spencer genuinely wrote a list of everything people hated about Xbox from 2012 to 2016. He took that fucking list and he's been ticking every single box off. He's gone down the list and he's ticked everyone off, and they're all about to play up. And Sony has also looked at that list and started going, oh, that's the reasons that Xbox was hated? Let's start following that so that they hate us now. Let's do that. Let's close studios down. Let's start doing this. Such a fuck up.
It's a miracle that there's not a PlayStation camera built into the PS5.
I'm surprised, dude. I'm surprised. Man, I just don't have anything to say other than fix your fucking shit. It's not hard. I should not be 6 months into a generation after having a successful launch and everything, and then going, oh, they're fucked. Like, they shouldn't be having that feeling. It's usually either before launch or just after, not 6 months after. We shouldn't have this feeling. But man, managing to fucking screw the launch up post-mortem is great fun, dude. Well done, Sony. Good job, Jim Ryan, Herman Hulst. Make a fucking game that isn't a third-person action game, I swear to God. Thank you. Last of Us Remake.
Like, honest question, who would want to buy a Last of Us Remake?
Not me, unless it's like, unless Pedro Pascal is an option of being able to play as Pedro Pascal, then I will buy it.
It'd be pretty fun.
Because honestly, it feels like everyone who wanted to play The Last of Us has already bought The Last of Us in one way or another.
It's like...
Be that on PS3 or the remaster on PS4, which, by the way, is on sale for like $10 now on the store.
Yeah, Last of Us Remastered was a PlayStation hit you can get for $15. If you own a PS5, it's a part of the PlayStation Plus collection. You've just given everyone that's going to fucking buy the remake a copy of the game! How dumb are you?
I hope they put the Dementors from Final Fantasy VII in the remake in the Last of Us remake. And then I hope it gets real crazy when they get to the remake sequel.
Out of all the fucking games, like you said, we've had enough Uncharted. I would have taken an Uncharted remake over this.
Yeah, I would have taken a remake of the first Uncharted game because at least that's like old.
Mm-hmm. But no, not getting that. Oh, fucking hell, dude. Genuinely.
That poor San Diego studio too. They just wanted to do something to prove that they were like able to be trusted with a game. And
They wanted
like,
to become in-house Bluepoint, and they were told no. You can be in-house Bluepoint, but you have to have the original developer lean over your shoulder and breathe on your work every fucking 2 seconds, going, "That bush isn't the same."
It's 2 pixels to the right of where it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
fucking fix it.
Because you don't see other studios remaking their own games, really. And if you like, even say Master Chief Collection, 343 didn't make those original games. It's like it's one of those things you don't ever see. And usually a studio like Naughty Dog go, "Oh, we did so well on that game. Let's pat on the back, everyone. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, guys.
Let's go again."
Yeah, or if it's coming from the same like place, it happens so long after the fact that the people are gone. Like Resi 2 remake.
Yeah,
you know, I'm sure they consult. I think they probably consulted with like Mikami and Kamiya, but
or do something drastically different with it, like they're doing with FF7. Even though they have a lot of the old guard, at least in terms of creative leads, they're doing something new with it. My one prayer for the Naughty Dog situation is this: as Naughty Dog multiplayer team is working on factions, the people that are left behind who aren't making the new original IP that Naughty Dog's making are working on the Last of Us remake, and that's what they're doing while they contextualize and concept this new game that they're making. That's my only hope, is that it's a period, like waiting period release thing that they're working on while they have the time, and it's not taking up the entirety of Naughty Dog. If this fucking thing is taking up the entirety of Naughty Dog, and you're telling me that we now have to wait 7 years for a new Naughty Dog IP because they're too busy remaking The Last of Us Part 1? No. Not happening.
If Naughty Dog's even allowed to make anything besides The Last of Us.
Honestly, after this remake, they'll probably be like, "Oh, you know, by the time you release your next game, it'll be like, what, 2026, 2027? That'll be the 10-year anniversary since Uncharted's been gone, so be a good time to bring it back, won't it?" And then that's when Uncharted comes back after a 10-year break. Because it takes Naughty Dog so long to fucking make video games. They're like, "Oh, look, Nate's daughter's all grown up. It's basically Tomb Raider now. Off we go. Let's go again."
It's basically Tomb Raider, yeah.
I digress. Moving on. We've ranted enough. Let's move on to something that Hunter can be happy about and rant about.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, please fill me in on what's going on
Let's
here.
talk about the Hideo Kojima Xbox rumor. I am getting this from Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicles, so shout out to you, Tom. Thank you for writing this up for me. According to Jeffy Grub, Xbox hopes to make the second game from the Death Stranding studio, Kojima Productions, the focus of a plan to leverage Japanese talent. Phil Spencer's been saying this for years now, that Xbox has been ignoring Japanese talent and he's been wanting to change it forever, because he's basically admitted the reason Xbox has no presence in Japan is because they don't put anything on it and they don't talk to Japanese developers, and they've been trying to fix it. They've especially been going hard for Yakuza.
They've been going real hard with Yakuza.
Yeah. They've been going they've been going hard with Square as well. They went to Sega about the Yakuza stuff. They got Kingdom Hearts on Xbox. They have been working on putting old Final Fantasy games on Xbox. They put Nier Automata onto Xbox. They put Octopath Traveler onto Xbox before even PlayStation. They have been going out of their way.
Octopath probably looks too old for them.
Like I say, they have probably already talked. They have probably already talked to Sega about getting Persona on Game Pass. They have probably already had that discussion. It's probably going to happen at some point in the near future. So anyway, basically, Jeff Grubb said that Kojima Productions has been in talks with Phil Spencer for a while now, with Xbox producing his next game. Basically doing what Sony did with Death Stranding, which is giving him a bunch of money to make his game for exclusivity. This was hinted because Phil Spencer likes to do this for some reason. He has, imagine a backdrop like mine, but instead of just shitty video games, he had hints for the future. He's done it before. For a while, the Series X, the little mini Xbox, he had on a shelf in the background for 3 months in his fucking background for when he was doing video presentations and stuff like that. that no one noticed. And he was like, yeah, I've had an Xbox Series S on that shelf for like the past 3 months. No one noticed because it was that small. I just put it up there. He's done this kind of thing before. He's had Bethesda stuff in the background before the Bethesda acquisition notice. And now Hunter will know the little Lumen statue, the little astronaut statue from Kojima Productions. He's had that in the background next to his Xbox logo for a little while now. So probably hinting at something like that. But no, according to Jeff Grubb, that is 100% his plan, is to use Kojima to leverage this moving forward into actually caring about Japanese talent. Again, doing the opposite of what Sony seems to do recently. I would not be surprised if Sony's like, oh, we don't want Persona, we don't want Yakuza because that shit smells. We have Last of Us Remake, baby, let's go. Like,
shit smells like weeb.
That shit smells like sadness. We're not having that. Other than that, just the article goes on to talk about how obviously Kojima had a project cancelled apparently. That he cancelled
a few times.
And he says that he'll have more to talk about his next game this year. So it seems like Kojima will be revealing the game this year.
Probably Xbox's E3 thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter, you see, when this first was announced, you were like, "Oh, this sucks that it's not going to be on PlayStation." But the fact that PlayStation's just dropping all the balls,
I don't even care. This is what they get.
There's genuinely a part of me that's actually like happy for Xbox to be like, yeah, fair play. Fucking take Kojima away from him. Make PlayStation cry a bit.
Yeah, because Kojima, weird as he is, he's a weird that's been a proven entity, and that PlayStation would always seek, I imagine.
Yeah.
Because, it may not be a super mainstream success as far as, like, it won't be as talked about later as maybe PlayStation's first party things, but people showed up for Death Stranding. It wasn't for everyone, but, it got eyes.
Death Stranding was, like, the least selling PlayStation exclusive, I believe. I think it was like the worst performing one, but that's just because Death Stranding didn't appeal to everyone like a main PlayStation Studios title did, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll have to look up on that. It's like even I didn't buy Death Stranding on day one, mainly because I wasn't in the country. I remember I was in Universal Studios at the time. I remember watching the kind of funny review of Death Stranding. Like, I was listening to their first impressions in the line. I was like in the Hagrid's line, and I was listening to their review, and they were talking about how fucking weird it was and how some people hated it and some people loved it. I was like, damn it, I need to buy this game when I get back, and I did. And it was the first thing I did, and I played it for 13 days straight, put 100 hours into it, and platinumed it and walked away. But man, this podcast has turned into the complete opposite. 3 weeks ago, we were being called Sony fucking shills, and here I am, sucking at the teat that is the Microsoft behemoth right now. But Phil's just making every right move. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. He knows what he's fucking doing. Jim Ryan doesn't. He has no fucking clue.
So a funny little thing that went into this whole Kojima rumor is there's like an indie game called Abandoned coming out. That's like a horror game that I guess invoked Silent Hills-esque imagery. And because the dev for it has like a very small presence, people thought it was Kojima being like
sneaky again.
Kojima, because do you guys know the story of him being all coy about revealing Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah, he put it under like a pseudonym and something. Didn't he? Like it was like
Moby Dick Games.
Moby Dick Games or something.
He appeared as a man with a bandaged face, and he pretended like the Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes were two different games.
Yeah.
And then later, when he revealed that they were the same thing, he took the bandages off, and he was like, haha, it's me.
It's me.
A real person.
No.
What?
Of course he fucking isn't.
He's a being from a different dimensional plane, descended down to grace us with his mind.
He's like, yeah, he is missing a few
I want
screws.
him and Yoko Taro to like collaborate on something. That'd be great.
Hell, dude.
Him, Yoko Taro, and Suda51.
Oh god,
That'd be amazing.
The three of them just work on anything.
honestly,
Oh, man.
that's genuinely crazy. But no, I mean,
I'll always remember
Go on.
when Ethan, when you finished Death Stranding, and you're like, "Fuck, all of these trailers make sense now."
yeah, it was annoying. It was really annoying because I'm like, because most of the time when like a game developer does something stupid, like a load of batshit crazy stuff, and they go, it all makes sense in the end, and it's usually like half-assed, like cobbled together, hardly makes sense. And you're
Just
like, yeah,
weird for the sake of being
From
weird.
a certain point of view.
yeah, you can go, yeah, but like it genuinely did work. Where all of the trailers, none of it was fabricated. All of the stuff that was shown in the trailers was in the game at some point, in some shape or form. One of the trailers where everyone was like, well, that's obviously not in the game, was literally a cutscene from the video game. Like, it was...
Yeah.
Say what you want about Kojima. He may be mad, but he gets results, I guess. He delivers.
Yeah,
He knows what he's doing.
like
Yeah.
he's good at. He provides a cool kind of almost indie creativity to the AAA space.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Because Death Stranding is also technically a third-person action game, but it's super weird. And the things you're doing are substantially different from any of PlayStation's exclusives, as far as the traversal is the part of the gameplay that you have to like get over.
It does have that Japan studio kind of quirk to it in a way, where even though it is an open world game and there is action in it, the game is like, nah, wouldn't you rather build a zipline network instead of doing that fighting? Would you rather just drive your fucking van across a road for 35 minutes instead? And you're going, yeah, I would actually. Let's do it.
Let's see if I can make a pyramid on my back with all these boxes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, let me check my weight distribution real quick so that I don't fall over in the mud. Like, it's one of those games that's so weird, but it's so
Monster Energy.
And yeah, again, if this does happen for Xbox, it's just another feather in their cap. Like, honestly.
Yep.
Much. And like whatever Kojima's next project in, I'm going to be interested in, because man is wacky and I love his work. Like he said before that like he's interested in doing a horror game, whether it's Silent Hill or not, and I'd be down for that 100%.
The question to me,
Silent Hill was so exciting in concept, and it's so sad that it died, is because Kojima making a horror game is something that I don't think most people could play without their brains exploding.
Yeah. It is a question to me of, was the cancelled game the horror game, or is this game he's working on the horror game? That's my question. Or maybe it's both. Maybe they went with one horror concept and went, that doesn't work, let's cancel it and do something else.
Yeah.
But hey, it'll be interesting. It'll also be hilarious if this new Kojima game is not a third-person action game, and it's the one that gets away from Sony. That'd be hilarious. There'd be just something about it.
Yeah.
But there you go. Those are the two little rants that we had planned for this week, news story-wise. So I guess we will move on.
Remember at the beginning of the week when we thought we were just going to talk about the games we were playing?
Yeah. Well, you are going to still do that. We're going to do that right now. So if you just came here to listen to us...
How silly we were.
Yeah. I can't wait for it, dude. Now we have two episodes.
God graced us with a little boon.
I can't wait now, because now we have both sides of the coin. If anyone ever calls us a PlayStation sellout, we can just link them this podcast. And then if anyone calls us an Xbox shill, we can just link them the one from 3 weeks ago and go, there you go. Both sides of the coin. Hope you're happy. And we shit on Nintendo every week, so they don't need one for that.
Hey, Nintendo hasn't been releasing games for us to shit on or doing anything.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, really.
So, at least they're hard locked into a place where they have to talk to us about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 news.
Anyway, moving on. I guess we'll finally talk about games we played this week. I'm going to throw it to Hunter first, and then to you, and then I'll say 2 minutes about Strikers in the end, because I don't really have much to report on Strikers. So, because we've talked about it to death already. So, Hunter, you finished Bloodborne.
Oh, I sure did. And let me tell you, I'm so happy this game clicked for me. of the last generation's exclusives. This is like top 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like Persona, and then maybe Horizon. I don't know which one I like more between Horizon and Bloodborne yet, but yeah, I beat the game. I did not finish the Chalice dungeons because the defiled Chalice is a jerk.
You're going back for it?
I'm gonna do a new game plus run, and I'm pretty sure that the Chalice dungeons difficulty scale differently than how like the game difficulty does. So it's just stuck in where it is. So after I kill like half the monsters in the game on New Game Plus, and I'm even stronger than I was at the end of the game, I'm gonna kick that stupid monster in its face.
Nice.
Respect.
Anyway, I don't know.
But yeah, Bloodborne is fantastic, man. The atmosphere is off the charts. It's really funny because the game, I've heard people mention it as almost being a horror game, and I can understand that argument. It's very heavy on the atmosphere. It does the kind of old school horror game thing where you're checkpoint based. It's really hard, and if you die, your progress is set back to where the checkpoint was. Every encounter is like dreadful until you're strong enough to deal with it. It's real cool that way.
Yeah.
As far as the and I haven't played Dark Souls or any of those yet, and I've heard stories about how those games hide the story and like the item descriptions and all that. As far as Bloodborne is concerned, they do a good enough job at dangling a carrot at the end of the stick for you to, have some kind of motivation to go forward. And then if you're like me, look into this other stuff later because of how interesting it is.
Yeah. No, that's what I've heard. Some people really like... Here's the thing, there's two types of Dark Souls players. There are the people that actually go and read up and like the lore, and there's people that have no fucking clue what's going on. They just like killing bosses and have beaten all 3 of them and just killed all the bosses and gone, cool, and kind of walked on. So, yeah. But no.
A lot of what I did with this game was I played it and kind of took in what I could while I was playing the area, and then I'd go find like a lore video or something to fill me in about the area after I was done. Or if I encountered a boss after I killed it, I'd go like look up its little tree in the Wikipedia and see if there were any details hidden.
Yeah, nice. It's just everyone seems to be playing Bloodborne this year. I don't know what it is. Everyone seems to be playing Bloodborne.
Sam's playing it right now.
Sam's playing it now.
You can see him right there.
I can't because I'm in full screen mode so that the layout works, so I can't see if he's still there or not. I'm sure he's making great progress, but Sam's playing Bloodborne right now. Hunter's just finished it.
I'm sure he'll watch this episode and tell us how much he's enjoying it in the comment section down below.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
if you've played Bloodborne and enjoyed it, to let us know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite lore of Bloodborne?
Like, comment, and subscribe, dude.
Please subscribe.
Hell yeah, dude.
Gotta get that artificial engagement.
Hell yeah.
It has a reputation for being hard, and this is probably just because, the hardest thing I've done in video games, just as far as proportional to my skill level and what it was when I was in middle school, was the first time I tackled like the Dante Must Die mode of the first Devil May Cry, and that I would genuinely be stuck on missions for like days sometimes. And I'm not a dumb kid anymore, so this is probably why Bloodborne was a little easier, but I never felt like I was being straight up walled by anything up until that dumb defiled chalice. But it's not like I have to do that either. I had the ability to just go on and finish the game, and I can come back to that. Like, there were occasionally bosses that I would fight for like 2 hours, but I don't think it got any further than that. And most of them, it would only be like half an hour.
2 hours? No, that'd kill me. That's like... I've got Bloodborne installed, and it's technically should be my next game that I play. Well, it's either that or Yakuza 0, and I've just played a JRPG. I don't know if I want to go for another J time right now. I've just finished. It's took me a month and a half to get through fucking Persona 5 Strikers. I'm still not done either. Still got to get that platinum or whatever. But Bloodborne should be the next game. Yeah, I know, right? To be fair, even at this point, even I'm ashamed of myself for going for this. I'm like, Yeah, why am I doing this? Is it just the fact so I can say I have all the Persona 5 Platinums? Is that just what I'm going for? Is just having that to my name? And yes, you're right, it is. That is the only reason I'm doing it. But no, Bloodborne should be next. But
Stupid engine noises are my end, by the way. It's not here.
Oh, the motorbike guy's at it again. The fucking motorbike guy. Off he goes, dude.
I'm gonna set up a net trap in the middle of the road someday, I swear.
Yeah, Hunter has like a biker gang. He's got like this biker gang go around his house. That's the law. But no, I'm getting distracted. Bloodborne, yes. My attention span is so low.
How low is it?
It should be the next game that you play, but is what you keep trying to say.
Yeah, it's my attention span is so low with games. I've tried playing Bloodborne once, and I played for about 45 minutes, I'd say, probably. I got to a bridge. This big monster killed me. That was my first death. And then I closed the game and went, well, that was a good first run, wasn't it? Well, I basically played it on permadeath. And my friend was like, no, the first boss is just there. I'm like, well, one day I'll find it.
One day.
But no, I should. I'm gonna at least give it an attempt. That's my thing. Is maybe I'll see if it clicks. Maybe it won't. But I will try and give it an attempt at least.
Yeah.
If
DLC
I can get
is also really good too. Since I played that and could comment on that, I really enjoyed it. My favorite boss of the game is in it. Oh man, Lady Maria is so cool.
Nice. But
And then the last area of the DLC is this big old shout out to the Shadow over Innsmouth, which is a Lovecraft story. I was like, oh man, this is cool.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
I'll get to it if I don't just go back into the Stardew rabbit hole and never come out. We'll see. So there you go. Hunter, you beat that. Kyle, you've been playing a video game. You've been playing
sure have.
Xenosaga 1?
Yeah, I am one of those fucking weirdos that Sony hates who plays old video games.
Oh, fuck it.
And I've finally decided to take the leap into Xenosaga. I don't know why I opened my water.
I keep doing that. I keep
It's
reaching.
talking time.
I keep reaching for my glass and it's empty, dude. Like, yeah. As if I feel sophisticated when I take a drink.
We're about to start the podcast, and I'm about to like take a drink as Ethan's introducing me. I'm like, wait, no, I have to get it.
Yeah.
Well, no water for Kyle. It's his turn to talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've started taking the dive into the Xenosaga trilogy, and I gotta say, end of episode 1, I am sufficiently hooked.
Nice.
Game is very good. I was grabbed from start to finish. Yeah, dude.
That was a weird grab, dude. That's the creepy grab, you know? Like, that is, you know, if you grab, like...
Right. I constantly live in like
reaching for someone and grabbing someone like that, like going aggressive like that. That's like your normal grab. That is like the weird fondle grab that you don't want to see. You know, like if someone comes up to you in the street and goes at you like that, you're like, no, get away from me, dude. That's not happening. That's the weird kind of grab. It's like a handshake, you know, from the kind of grab that someone does. What kind of person they are. And man, that is
grabbing you in general. You probably don't want them around.
Yeah.
Who knows, dude? Maybe I just meet the wrong kind of people. Anyway, Xenosaga. Creepy grabs aside. Go for it.
I don't really know where to start with Xenosaga. Turn-based RPG. It's more like Final Fantasy X, truthfully, where you have like a list of... You can see the turn order, and it's not always fixed in the same order. It's not like you go and then enemies go and then you go. It's
like
more just
changes
like
off in the corner or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
And it's really... There's a lot of different perspectives. You're jumping between characters a lot. There's so many freaking cutscenes in this game.
Oh, nice.
It's all really good.
Nothing new for Xeno. Nothing new for Xeno, dude.
Truthful. What is new is that Episode 1 was only like 30 hours, which was a nice change. That's like a really good length for an RPG.
All Xeno games are 30 hours when me and Hunter are playing them, am I right, Hunter? That's the spirit. High five, dude. Let's go. Fucking...
Well, after I came off of Xenogears,
longer than 30.
No, I will. It took me 50 hours to beat Xenoblade 2. I will give Xenoblade 2 that, and I did 100% mainline that from point A to point B. I did no side things really, which I will do the eventual time when I eventually play it for the second time at some point, maybe this year. I will go and do side things, but no. Main paths are usually like 50 hours, 30 hours. But anyway, carry on.
But yeah, I just like coming off of Xenogears, and that was like 60 hours. I'm like, I welcome a shorter episode, and like it is an episode, so it's fair enough that it's shorter.
Yeah.
So it's like very clear that it's one part of a story that will be like
like basically when the game ended, there were still a lot of parts open because the story's not done yet.
So it's like the
many character arcs haven't been closed yet.
It's like the Disney Plus show to the Marvel movie right now, where like in the movie you get your consistent ending and whatever, whereas they chop off the bit and just leave you fucking hanging. Except with a video game, they take 2 years to make, and you're just sitting there going, "I hope they finish it. That'd be sad if they don't."
But like basically the climax of episode 1 is that one of your characters, Rubido, is there's this confrontation with him and the villain Albedo, and eventually Albedo just escapes in his pod and off to go travel space and do whatever he does. No real closure happened between Rubido and Albedo.
Sounds like the ending of Onimusha, the first game, where there's Nobunaga Oda is this like famous feudal Japan warlord who is fictionalized in many different ways, but in Onimusha he's like a bad guy who got killed in the opening and resurrected, and at the end of the game he just kind of walks by Samanosuke, the protagonist, and they kind of look at each other and nothing ever happened.
Nice.
I'm at least thankful that I know it's not a cliffhanger. I know that Takahashi finished Xenosaga, unlike Gears, which Square didn't want him to finish.
Yeah.
And on the whole, like the game is really good. It's presentation-wise, it's super good. Voice acting is really stellar. A lot of notable voice actors are in the game too. Wendy Lee is in it, voice of Trish in DMC5 and Faye in Cowboy Bebop. Both Ansem and Xemnas from Kingdom Hearts are in the game.
Aren't they the same fucking person?
No, they have different voice actors.
It always makes me laugh that they got different voice actors for those two, because it just seems like it's just two voice actors having a deep voice contest. It was like Ansem was like, I have a deep voice, then Xemnas was like, I can go deeper.
Darkness.
Yeah, just both of them are sitting in the booth opposite each other, just screaming darkness at each other. See how low they can go.
Like this. I was surprised to learn this. Lex Lang is in this game.
Oh, baby.
Your Cortex is in the game?
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
It's pretty rad. Unfortunately, his character's kind of an asshole, but
nice.
We don't forgive him.
Nice.
Virgil's a prick.
It's funny. Lex Lang's like hardly in
it. For 500.
Yeah, dude, Lieutenant Virgil, he's a fucking racist prick.
Oh no.
We hate him.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, game's real good. If you get a chance to play it, this is episodes 1 and 2 run really cheap. It's episode 3 that you need to sell your soul to get. But like even standalone, I think 1 is very good. Even though it does leave things open, the ending is still like there's enough of a closure in this ending to where I'd say, yeah, this game's good. Even standalone, I would definitely put it in like top 3 Xeno games so far.
Oh, nice. So,
point of curiosity here. I know Square like took Xeno years and like shot it and sent it to the vault. So was Xenosaga after like the guy behind it split from them or whatever?
Yeah, this is when Takahashi split off and created Monolith Soft.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was published by Namco. in Japan.
Yep.
And in NA, and here it was published by Sony. Oh, look at them!
Oh, how the times change.
Yeah. And also, like, Xenogears was the introduction of Cosmos, which kind of became like a pseudo mascot for Namco Bandai. She's shown up in other Xeno games. She was in Xenoblade 2 as a blade you could get. She was a create a character in Soul Calibur 3, I want to say.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really, like, she's shown up in, like, Namco Cross Capcom, the fighting game, Project X Zone, where, strangely enough, she showed up with Fiora from Xenoblade. It was... Project Cross Battle was weird.
I've only
Project Cross Zone was wacky.
Because that's like a DS or 3DS game, isn't
3DS, yeah.
For the longest time, I thought that game was like some weird fan project because I was like, "There's too many crossing franchises here. I don't understand."
It's mostly just Capcom, but like the second game is when they branched out and got like Chrom and Lucina. It was weird. It was a very interesting game, and I kind of want to play it just to see how weird it is.
I feel it.
Yeah, Xenosaga is very good. If you get the chance, big recommend.
Cool. No, there you go. Oh, no, do I have to talk now?
Well, I mean, you could just end the episode.
Okay,
it's all up to you.
And I did nothing. No, I can talk about it real quick. I finally finished Strikers today.
Yay!
Yay! It's good. There you go. That's my review. It's good.
Wow.
Now,
Thanks, best buddy.
I will say that the two characters that they added, Sophia and especially Zenkichi, are really good. Zenkichi is a standout. He is a really good character. I really like him quite a bit. The story is interesting because if Persona 5 original was kind of this idea of with the palaces and all the leaders of the palaces being like these stereotypically like extremely evil people, where it's like, oh, you have this gym teacher who's I'm not going to say that word because we'll probably get blacklisted on YouTube. Or we have like this, a nonce. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, English vocabulary. Or you have
taught me that word.
yeah, exactly. You have this artist who's a fraud and is creating duplicates, or you're a fake and a fraud, or you have this Yakuza member, right? If all of the villains in Persona 5 are kind of stereotypically, except for there's a couple of exceptions to this rule, but if they were all stereotypically kind of good versus bad kind of situations, Strikers very much sits in that grey area and talks a lot about what if people that weren't necessarily evil, weren't necessarily evil had control, and like it kind of draws that line. It tries to do more of a grey tone kind of story, and for the most part it works. It's not as good as the original in any stretch of the word. It's super generic.
Yeah,
there's a middle point. The game did the thing straight away, whereas in the original Persona 5, I'm not going to spoil it. If you've not played it at this fucking point, why are you listening to this podcast? Like, it's the one game that we've that and Devil May Cry are the only two fucking things we recommend on this damn podcast. So if you haven't played one of them, what's the point? But
you've played both of them. You're our favorite viewer.
Yeah, but for the two people that haven't, I'll just explain it in kind of casual speak. But in base Persona 5, Palace 4 is, to me, where a shift in tone happens, where something surprising happens that they do with the palaces that's not something that I would have expected, and it worked really well. Palace Dungeon 4 in this game did a tone shift as well and did something different, and that is my favourite part of the game, and it's really fucking good. That part of the game is really cool. Yeah. It takes a twist that I was not expecting, and I remember messaging Hunter about it, and I played that entire section in like one night because it was that fucking good, and it was that interesting to me.
It was really funny how your like little path through this game went, because we were both playing it for a little bit. I finished the game, and you started playing it for this pretty extensive stretch of time after a break, and then you took another break.
I did the first two dungeons, and started the third one, took a 2-week break, then did 3 and 4 in the space of 2 nights. Then did 5. I did 5 the day after as well. So I did 3, 4, and 5 in a break, and then I got to. I did 3, 4, 5, and 6. I did all of that stretch in one like chunk, and then part of the 6th one, like part of the end of the 6th one, I was like halfway through the 6th one, and I just took like a 3-week break, like 3.5-week break, and then I just finished it in the next like couple of days after it. Don't
forget about the part where you talk to a statue's feet for.
Oh yeah, I
2
touched
days.
Yeah, I touched a statue's feet for 8 hours. It was great fun. But no, it's an interesting thing where at first it's kind of weird for me to say this. You don't think I don't think you think that I'd say something like this, but the gimmick kind of wore off. For the first bit of the game, I was like, "We're back. This is great." Like, I was super excited. Everything that they were saying was, like, making me smile. There was a load of really cool moments, and I was enjoying it. And that halfway point was also cool as well. But in the second and third dungeons, and then in the rest of the game, there was this kind of feeling where I was like, the gimmicks kind of worn off, and I don't like the gameplay as much, and it's just more of the same. It's too generic for me, where it genuinely follows the same kind of beats as the original, where it's like, oh, this section is this character's part, and this section's this character's part, and at the end you fight God again, because of course you fucking do, and there's kind of a little twist near the end, and there's like, it kind of follows the same little pattern, which they obviously did because Koei Tecmo, the people that worked on this, were obviously massive fans of the original and wanted to kind of do a similar kind of thing. But I feel like it's a sequel in name, not a sequel in substance. Where everything's there, where they're like, yeah, you're back with your friends and everything's cool and you're having fun, and but there's no reason for this to exist other than for the sake of it existing, which is, to me, kind of a shame. They do some interesting stuff, but other than Haru, who gets a character, who gets
a character
that gets some massive development time that was needed.
Shine, it's amazing.
Everyone else doesn't seem to get that. Zenkichi and Sophia do, which is cool, and that's nice because those two characters are great, and what they do with those two characters, especially Zenkichi, really well done. What they do with the police in general in this game is really well done as well. I like it, but it's there in name, and they're acting as if here we are again, we're going through it again, but the substance just isn't there for me. The story is just it just seems to, it serves its purpose. There
are some of the concepts they bring up that I would almost like, the whole, well, what if the people in the palaces aren't evil kind of thing, because this game doesn't really reach that super far. It'd be cool for them to take that idea and run with it for like Persona 6, as far as like if they tried to do something similar to the palaces and concepts, but also put them all in some kind of gray area and actually explore that in a manner.
Well, it was like Persona 4 was very much exploring the inner person, where the dungeons were based off of the inner person. Persona 5, it was based on these evil people, where it was kind of like you're going into their desires, a twisted reality that you see through their eyes, essentially what they see the world as. And this is kind of...
3 was based on the tarot cards.
Yeah, basically. And Strikers was kind of similar, but based on people that aren't as... Like, even... Other than God, the other kind of surprise all the other surprise villains, and just the villains in general, aren't really that bad. Like, aren't morally... They do some of them do some fucked up shit, and some of them are very exploitative. But at the same time, you know that inside... there's a reason for it, and you kind of can see where they're going. You're like, in the end, I think after this, if you work on yourself and if you work on bettering yourself, they could be good people. Where it's like, you look at everyone else in Persona 5 and you're like, you're a twat, you're definitely a twat, you're not changing, and you're dead. So there we go. It's like,
you're dead.
There's no real redemption there, whereas at least here, it's like, there are characters where I'm like, yeah, you could, like, even the big bads, I'm like, even though you did some terrible things, I can see you being a kind of person that when everything's over, you will probably try and make right on what you did wrong, whereas everyone in Persona 5 is just a bunch of arseholes, and they're just like, I'm sorry, I'm so terrible, I'm gonna go rest myself and cry. And then you're like, yeah, you're still a twat. It's an interesting game.
Give him the chair.
I liked it. I liked it, but there was something that it was like it was good, but I wish there was more.
Something was missing.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of to me what Age of Calamity was. It's better than Age of Calamity. It's better than Age of Calamity. I should make that clear. It's a better game than Age of Calamity.
I feel like that's true. Yeah.
But the style is there, the art is there, the cast is there, but just something makes you feel like you know that this isn't right, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not playing that game going, oh yeah, this is it, this is it, this is the sequel, this is the canon, this is what happened. I'm just sitting there going, yeah, this is a thing that...
Were you going into the game expecting it to be bad?
No, but once I got back and sat, I think it was one of those things where I didn't go in expecting it, but once I was sitting there and I was playing it and it brought me back into that world, the hope started, where it was like, you know?
I think that's where we differed. My hope stayed reasonably managed to, it's fun to be in this world still. I don't think this is ever going to breach anything beyond the depth the main game did.
Well, it wasn't the depth of the main game, it was just the idea of we're coming back to this world for a reason. At first I was like, yeah, it's just a piss about a little summer holiday thing, but then when you have the scene in LeBlanc at the start where everyone welcomes you back and you have that first 2 hours where it is just you doing a Persona game where you're just talking and catching up with people and hearing what's been going on, and you're just in that world again, you're like, I feel like there's a purpose here, and to get at the end and it's just kind of a generic kind of little tale that kind of goes on, and you know, you do your part.
It's the anime movie.
It is the holiday special.
That's always what I saw it as, which I'm like, yeah, cool. There's nothing else out right now, so I'm down for this. Persona 5's world.
Yeah, it's good. It's just, to me, there's something missing. And I also find it extremely weird that the game acts as if there's more to come as well, which is so weird to me. Is because you know what I mean. There's a lot of things where everyone's like Lavenza and stuff. Like, this is no spoilers, but even like Lavenza, she's like, "I'll see you again," and she's like, "We'll meet again. See you then." And I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? Like,
I think this is just more for the people who are sad of the notion that the Phantom Thieves won't get back together again. So they're always like, oh, there's always got to be something eventually that like stupid that happens to them.
There'll be another spin-off. There'll be something else, but it's just one of those. I don't know. Like this, the end didn't make me sad this time because it didn't make me feel like there's.
Yeah, I definitely did not have.
I was just like,
it's over. After finishing this game, I was like, oh, that was nice.
I actually just went, oh, that's it. I was like, oh, that's it. Cool. Okay, we're done. Credits are rolling. Nice. I didn't even stay and watch the credits because I was like, I'm late already for this recording. I'm just gonna skip.
All right.
I was gonna skip. Hopefully, there wasn't a post-credit scene that told me that there was an actual sequel coming out. So that's a shame if I missed that. Guess I'll never know. Guess I'll never know.
It's not like you can just watch the credits on YouTube or something.
No, I guess I'll never know, you know? But no,
it's a mystery.
You know what I think? Do you know what I think's miss? I figured it out. Do you know what I think was missing, Hunter?
Akechi.
The social.
Kasumi.
No, one Kasumi and one, it doesn't help. One, it doesn't help trying to get... One, it didn't make me... You know how we're talking about... It's hard to get into it when you're like, this is already the non-canonical events because Kasumi and Akechi just aren't here right now. Or even mentioned. Like, Akechi's not even mentioned in this. There's not even a mention of him.
My boy.
They even mentioned fucking...
Your boy. They mentioned EY and Dr. Take Me get booted off to, like, nowhere land in the beginning so you can shop online. It's upsetting.
Well, yeah, but they were never party members.
No.
Yeah, but they were cool.
Even Shido gets multiple references, but Akechi, they don't even mention him. They don't say his name, they don't mention him. And then...
That's tragic.
We won't talk about it because it does go into a tiny bit of spoilers. But I'm just checking. No, there is no post-credit scene. I've just checked the Wikipedia. The one thing that they did, the one thing that feels missing is the social aspect to it. The gameplay and story were kind of there. No social system, no just hanging out with your friends, or when you did, it was all enforced events where it didn't feel like you were making choices. That's the kind of thing that I miss from a Persona game, because that's half the fun to me. Half of the fun is, oh cool, we go do this dungeon crawling, but then once I'm done, I'm gonna spend some time with my man Ryuji. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Whereas this game, it kind
to
of...
be fair, the kind of chill moments that you did have were good. It's just kind of, I understand what you mean. There's not as many, and it's not anything like...
There are some cool moments. There are some cool moments, but...
The Ferris wheel with Yusuke and Ryuji was fun.
Yeah, I had
the
to go...
other Ferris wheel versions are not fun.
And the Anne one's the worst. If you romance Dan in base P5, from one person that did that to another, I fucking apologize. This game has nothing for you because whenever you go anywhere with Anne, Morgana's like, I'm gonna tag along and be a simp. Cool. Like, oh great. At least in P5, you just leave him at home. You just go, Dad, take the cat. I'm off. Not in this game. I wish we could have done that. Yes.
Sojiro, keep the cat while we go on summer vacation.
But yeah, it's an interesting game. I like it more than I'm letting on. Usually with things I like, I tend to span on the side of negative just because it's easier for me to talk about things I don't like than it is to talk about things that I like, especially when it comes to spoilers. When we come to actually talking about the story in the spoiler cast that we can now do at some point.
Now we can do it, yeah.
We can go into the nitty-gritty.
Is it me?
No, just us two again, as always.
Only ye.
Yeah, only ye. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about, but I do like it. It's a good game. If you like Persona 5, give it a shot. You'll probably like it. Don't go for the platinum. It's bullshit. It's fucking bollocks. I've wasted my time maxing my bond link for 8 hours. I'm probably gonna have to grind to level 90 as well. It's not fun. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's pain. It's a waste of time. But with that, speaking of waste of time, with that, the episode's over. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, baby.
Congratulations.
You all just wasted an hour.
You just wasted an hour and 17 minutes of your lives. Congratulations, everybody. Woohoo.
Shit, that long?
Yep.
We spent a long time yelling about PlayStation at the beginning.
Yeah. The first we spent 44 minutes ranting, and then we got into game stuff at 44 minutes. So there you go.
Oh, cool.
But with that,
Hunter and I don't know how long these things go for now.
Not anymore, yeah, because we don't record using Zencastr anymore. We might switch at some point back. We'll see. Maybe one day I'll get you guys to record your audio locally, so you know how long we've kind of been going for. I've never thought about doing that. I don't know why I'm mentioning this now on a...
And then if the video ever kicks it again, you could just force it to work with our locally recorded files.
Yeah, and you guys could do your
just
audio.
Shove that square peg into the round hole.
And you guys could do your audio editing on your end, and then just send me the files. Why have we never fucking thought of this? Oh my god! Right?
Yeah.
Well,
fuck, dude.
I feel dumb. I feel fucking stupid right now.
You know what's funny is, I think before Zencaster, when we still didn't know, when it was still an unknown entity of how we were going to do this, I think the notion of doing something like that was oh, that's probably how we do it, huh?
I feel so dumb. Why aren't we doing that? Next week, we will have everyone local record their audio so that the audio sounds good next week. Sounds good? Woo!
Oh, man.
Bet you can't wait for that. That solves the Zencaster issue as well. Wow, why didn't I think of that? Fuck, I'm so mad at myself right now. 56 episodes, and it took us that long to come up with, what if we all record our own audio? Clap, clap, clap. I digress. Anyway, on that note, Hunter, where can people find you?
YouTube.com/ReaperHunter23.
Kyle, where can people find you? Answer the damn question.
Getting there.
Davis SRL.
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, both at KDavisSRL. I'm sorry, I have the giggles now.
Nice. You can find me at Chaotic Ether on my voice crack. At Chaotic Ether at Chaotic Ether on Twitter and Twitch. We just lost it. We've lost the plot. This was the first episode.
Do we ever have a plot?
This was the first episode in ages where the first 10 minutes didn't have a screw up, and then we're just adding them on at the end. This was the first episode of the year.
It's okay. People normally don't make it to the end.
Oh, good. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah, little Easter egg.
This is the post-credit scene.
It's fine. It's all good. But with that, that's been our show. Thank you so much for listening / watching this week. We'll be back next week with something. Hopefully not as negative an episode of Hot Gamers Only. But we'll see. Hopefully something positive in the news happens this week. But until then, have an amazing week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.